I think life is beautiful, and I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to have had this experience called living. Somebody once told me that failure was my middle name because I have failed at so many things. And my response to that is thank you for the compliment because I have tried so many things. I have. And each thing that I have tried, fail or not, I came away with experience of having done it. I would rather try something and fail than not to have done it. Why? Because that's the way I am. So, there you go. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is this. Because I've tried so many things, and because a lot of people simply don't understand Dave. The only people who seem to understand me are people like my nieces and nephews. They get it. They get it. And some of my cousins, they get it. And of course, I have a lot of cousins. I think 80% of them, and this is just a guess, would rather not know me at all because they're embarrassed about me. And that's okay. That's okay. But this is what I wanted to share with you. Failure is not necessarily a bad thing. I tell you what is bad is not to have tried. That is bad. If you try something and you fail, so what? You failed, So there you have it. That's such a preface because of what I want to ask you. I would like to ask you to do me a favor. I want to start something. I want to start a discussion on different motion pictures. And what I'd like for you to do, if you agree, is to share this link of this video on your Facebook page. And what I'm asking is a very simple question. Tell me motion pictures that have made a difference in your life. And I'm not talking about earth-shaking differences. What I'm talking about is a movie that had some impact on your life. To get that started, I want to talk about this movie. It is called Zulu. Now, couple things. This was Michael Caine's first motion picture, so he's very young in this movie. Second thing, it was produced and directed by Stanley Baker. Stanley Baker also acted in this movie. This movie was so good that they have, in fact, digitally remastered this movie. And I got to tell you, it is one of the good ones. First of all, when you think of Zulu and when it was made, you got to really take your hat off to Stanley Baker. He did a great job in this movie. There are a lot of things about this movie that I really admire. First of all, how Stanley Baker got all those beautiful women to go a natural for this movie. How did he do that? How did he talk them into doing it? And the second thing, on such a grand scale. The other thing that impressed me about this movie is that the heroes in this movie were not whitewashed. Pardon the pun. But they were your scalawags and your riffraffs and your people who came from diverse backgrounds to be a hero in this to become heroes in this movies. And the movie itself is accurate. The movie tells a story and it's accurate. And finally, as a person of color, I really appreciated the fact, and we got to remember when this movie was made. In context of the time, I really appreciate the fact that Stanley Baker handled the Zulus with a lot of respect and admiration. The one line that somebody said in trying to talk down the Zulus, they were chopped almost in mid-sentence and corrected. So, anyway, the movie Zulu. It's now on something like Tubi or one of the free channels so you can watch it. Of course, there are a lot of other movies that I admire. Dr. Zhivago, of course. But then again, any movie that's made by David Lean, to me, is just incredible. I still think that he was one of the greatest directors ever. You know, A Passage to India, Lawrence of Arabia. The guy was great. Bridge on the River Kwai. So now you know. So, do me a favor, and here's my question. I want you to name a movie that made an impact on you, and please tell me why. And if we can keep this string going, I think this is going to be a very beautiful way to start a conversation. And by looking at the different people and the movies that they admire, that movies that made an impact on them, you could really develop some really good friendship using my page. Just a thought. If this little project is a failure, so what? I have failed many times.